What's good? It's your boy CJ, the Barber Prodigy, aka the owner of Crown Culture Barber Studio, or CK Barber Studio. Just here to bring this video to you guys because a lot of my friends have been branching out into barbering and they all have some similar questions. The one that I get asked the most often is, what is it that I use to get that white ash line effect, that crispy white line, that fresh cut look, whatever you want to call it, man, depending on where you're from. But I try to keep my processes real simple, So I'm going to show you guys the two different ways that I achieve this. Whether you're dealing with clients with that good skin that dries out easily or that good skin that stays moist, either way it goes, you can give them that crispy look, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Alright, so as you'll see, I start with my hose spray, and at this time, Got to Be Glued is my hose spray of choice. So I give that some time to dry. If you have a dryer, it speeds up the process. If you don't, you can just let it dry naturally. And try to shield his face, when I'm spraying them with the dryer because, it's hot blowing on the eyes. You just let that dry up and then you comb it out. It's a little stiff when the hose spray is on it, but I use the wide tooth of the comb, and I find that it combs through it a little better, and that's just it. You start attacking at that line. Make sure you're not pushing them back. Try to stay as close to natural as possible. And as you'll see, it's already starting to show that little white ash line effect. Nothing major here, just some hose spray in the dryer. That's all it took, some hose spray in the dryer. Got to Be Glued is about $7, $8 a can, and it lasts you a good little while. Even with consistent clients, it should last you about a month. You see it just kind of still working it, going in at it. And my trimmers of choice are the Stylecraft Evos. I gotta shout them out. I know everybody's crazy about the Babulous and the Andes, but man, when I tell you these Stylecraft Evos hit every time. And you see, I can even go in and detail designs with them and everything, man. They really they kind of contribute to that white ash line as well. Not saying that a certain trimmer will only give you that effect, because you can really get that effect with any trimmer, even some Walmart trimmers, if you gap them right. But just, you just got to go through and do those extra steps to make sure that you prepare the skin properly. I find that it works best if you do a hot towel before you get the skin, before you spray it with the hose spray. You're always going to get better results when you prepare the skin properly and you take the necessary steps. So, you guys didn't get to see the Barbasol and the hot towel, but all I did was put some Barbasol on this line, let it dry it out, and let the hot towel, clean the Barbasol off. All right, next up, we have the artificial ash line, or as I would like to call it, the pencil method. Now, I use 3 different types, depends on the skin tone that I'm doing it on. I use the white one for my Caucasian customers. It just shows up better on their skin. I use the Barber Magic one for my the customers that are more of my complexion, because it has that brown tip, so it looks better on their skin. It's not too bright, it's not too dark. And then my favorite one of all to use is the Deuce Effects Barber Magic Pencil. And I'll show you that one. It's for the lighter skin customers. I know a lot of barbers that they don't really take into account the skin color when they choose which barber pencil to use. But I just want to say, I know that's very, very important to look as close to natural as possible, especially with it not being natural. So I highly suggest that you get more than one different tone of skin tone pencil. And I'll put all these links below so you guys know where I order from if you want to order from the same. I got you. All right, so same process with him. Even without the hot towel and the barber saw, I just go in and put the hose spray on it and comb it through. This time I'm gonna let it dry naturally. I'm not gonna use the dryer. And as you see, I'm just combing it as it's drying. Alright, and when it's dry, I'll go in and I'll start attacking the line. And the one thing I noticed is you don't really have to do it as hard with the trimmers. Like, you don't have to dig in as much. When you already know your customer has that kind of skin that's really moist, it doesn't really dry out as much. You don't really have to dig in as much to get that desired effect. I mean, honestly, he already has an ash line coming in, and this is with no pencil. So as you'll see later on, well, you won't see this in the video, but later on I went ahead and I put some of our Crown Culture Skin Therapy lotion on them, of course, nothing but the best. But I put a little bit on there so that, you know, just so you guys can actually see how the pencil works on skin that really retains moisture well. And because on those skin types, like it's almost impossible to get an organic ash line because of the fact that their skin is just absorbing, it's just eating up that hose spray, and it's absorbing anything you throw at it. So yeah, so like I said, I put some lotion on them so that, you know, you guys can see. But this is how it comes out already with just the trimmers, and I was barely touching them. Of course, like I said, my Stylecraft Evos. So this is where I cut and I put some lotion on them, put a little enhancement on its light spots. And here we see my Deuce Effects barber pencil. And I start with, I make sure the pencil's sharp, and I put a very thin line over where you plan to line them up. And you know, at this time, the line doesn't have to be perfect, you just have to have it close, because now is where you're gonna go in with the razor after you finish with this part. And again, make sure your pencil is sharpened, okay? You ain't gotta worry about poking them or nothing. It's not gonna poke them. But now you'll go in with your razor, and you're gonna do this little thin motions, just thin toward the hairline. Like, you wanna go I wanna say like 1/8 of an inch, not even that much, toward the hairline, just very thin strokes. And you touching up the hairline, you're making it perfectly even and straight. And man, those waves are popping. That's that Crown Culture Wave Pomade right there as well. I'm gonna make sure I put these product links below for you guys. And after you finish going in with the razor, which again, another product, I prefer my Crispy Lines razor to any other razor on the market. So after I go in with the razor, I'm gonna take my trimmers, and this time I'm gonna go outward. As you'll see, I'm combing the hair different directions because it helps the client's hairline to last longer when you take the time and you get those hairs that come back over the line. Like for the really curly hair customers, when you brush them, their hairs come back down over the line, and that's the first thing people want to do when they leave the barbershop is brush their hair. So you make sure that you go in and brush those hairs different directions so that when you line them up, you know, you'll get all of the hairs. So when they brush, it's nothing popping back over their line. But yeah, just take your trimmers and you scrub outward. And as you see, I mean, honestly, this way comes out a little cleaner. And I like to go and do some added steps. Take my little razor comb and get the thick hairs or the hairs that stick up off of the line. And I also sell these guys as well. If you guys want one, just let me know. I can get you that ASAP. But you see the finished result, you see how it comes out. So either way, you can achieve that ash line regardless of the skin type. And so just, you know, stay encouraged. And if it's not working, if one way isn't working on a client, then try a different way. And even still, there are more ways than this. These are just the two that I use the most often. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the content that I put out today. I hope it was very educational for those who didn't know how to do it, and even those who were just looking for a way to achieve those desired results differently. So let me know in the comments below what you thought, if it was helpful, if not, you know what I'm saying? Even if you know a different way to do it, or if you got any other questions that you would like me to make some videos on and answer for you. Please just let me know anything I can do to help you guys progress your career. Somebody did it for me, so I'm definitely willing to do it for you guys. All right, until we meet again. Oh yeah, one more thing. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you.